have some breaking news for you now. The U.S. State Department is raising the travel advisory to the highest level, which basically says Americans should not travel abroad. CNN's Kylie Atwood joins me now from the State Department. Kylie, so this is an advisory, but not a ban?
Yeah, this is an advisory, but it is the highest level that the U.S. State Department can issue to Americans considering traveling abroad. It is telling them do not travel. And to give you a little bit of context here, Jake, this is generally the level that is reserved for countries where there could be Americans that could face life or death situations, places like Afghanistan and Syria. So putting the world on par with those countries due to coronavirus shows you how seriously the State Department is taking the spread of coronavirus worldwide. And what they say in this travel advisory that just went out moments ago is that any Americans who are in countries where there's commercial travel available for them to get back to the U.S., they should go ahead and get on those flights as soon as possible. And it warns that if Americans do choose to travel abroad, even though this advisory has gone out, they may face an indefinite amount of time that they are going to have to remain there. Now, the question, of course, is also for Americans who are in countries right now that have closed their borders, that have shut down their airspaces. We know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans that are already trying to get home. So this is going to put even more stress on the State Department and their system to try and get those Americans home. We know that is something that is being actively discussed at the State Department and within the White House.
What can they do? We've heard of thousands of people stuck in Peru, thousands of people stuck in Morocco, and obviously that's just two countries. What can the White House do? I mean, or the State Department do? Can they send military transports? What options are being considered?
Yeah, they say all options are on the table right now, which means, yes, there is the possibility that they could send U.S. flights, U.S. government flights to pick up these individuals. Now, I spoke with a former senior State Department official who's been involved with these emergency flights in the past, however, who said the U.S., the State Department, cannot do a global evacuation of its citizens. So there's a lot of pressure right now on the State Department. So they are trying to figure out how to best handle this situation, and they are working around the clock, but they are facing some criticism from lawmakers who are hearing from their constituents who are abroad and aren't getting the answers that they need. So there is a lot that's going to have to happen in the days and weeks ahead here.
You're also learning that the White House is considering grounding domestic flights within the United States.
Yeah, so that is under consideration. The White House, the task force, has discussed grounding some or all domestic flights within the U.S. And a source told my colleague, Vivian Salama, that it's Dr. Fauci who has been pushing for this to happen. But there are others at the White House who don't think it's a great idea, specifically because there is cargo that has to fly around the U.S. right now. That includes medical supplies that need to get to the places where they are in demand. Now, of course, one thing that they could do would be to ground all flights except for emergency flights, except for business flights. So there are a lot of considerations to that they're discussing right now. But the bottom line is that the airlines have already suspended so many of their flights. So even if they do choose to follow through with a ban on all or some domestic flights, the impact is questionable. Jake?
Kylie Atwood at the State Department, thanks so much. Appreciate it.